rules to get your phone.
Hey, I'm on break. I was playing and they're like,
Want to make sure I can see the end of the line before I moved on. All right, you guys right this way.
There's so many people already on here.
All right. Yeah, absolutely. You had a long day? Did you, were you on today?
huh?
No, Jim.
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow, okay.
Yeah. I
Gotcha.
have to.
Go on in, guys. We've got plenty of room in here to spread out.
No, I don't need to sit. Yet.
Yes. Come on in. We got plenty of room to spread out.
Oh, I don't want to sit here. Eventually, maybe. I'm
Come
good
on in.
right now. Well, thank you.
And plenty of room to spread out. There you go. So we passed by a couple of things that I wanted to mention before we moved on. When we took that first left onto the ship, we passed through something called a battle dressing station. Now, it kind of made sense on a ship this big, especially a ship of war, that you had small, well-equipped, well-staffed medical areas just spread throughout the ship. In this way, an injured sailor could get medical attention almost immediately. And it was possible that the Yorktown could be damaged in such a way that you just couldn't get an injured sailor to the main medical area the ship was sick at. So these battle dressing stations really had to do some pretty advanced things. You could perform operations in battle dressing stations. They had autoclaves and surgical implements, everything you might need. IVs and blood transfusions, things like that. Of course, the main medical area of the ship was an ideal place to perform these operations, and we'll be seeing that tonight. But the battle dressing stations did tend to be customized somewhat to the part of the ship they were in. Like you could expect certain injuries to occur back there that you might not get so much of in another part of the ship. For instance, that battle dressing station was right next to the machine shop. So your injuries likely coming through there were going to be, amputations, crush injuries, pinch injuries, punctures, that sort of thing. The part of the ship where we get the physical paranormal phenomenon, the poking and the shoving, is very close to a battle dressing station that dealt with, what in my opinion is the severest of human traumas. And those would have been burns, not just from fire, but steam, chemical, and radiation as well. We don't know if that's why that area is so physically, paranormally active. Certainly there would have been a very intense outpouring of human emotional energy there, which tends to leave a residue behind. It's just a theory we have. We're going to kind of follow it around and see where it goes. Then we pass by the galley, and that is some of the finest fake food in any museum anywhere. Okay? I always get hungry when I do these tours because fake food looks so good. But you can imagine how important food was on this ship. They served 4 meals a day: breakfast, lunch, dinner, and a late meal called midnight rations, or mid-rats for short. And that was served to anybody working late or anybody who's really still hungry from the day. And it was usually just leftover food and eggs made to order. Okay, but that food was meant to sustain the sailor physically, right? It was meant to bolster his physical stamina. If that sailor didn't have a smile on his face, that sailor was less effective. So to that end, the Yorktown also produced 10,000 chocolate chip cookies a day. 10,000 chocolate chip cookies a day. Okay. Today's modern Navy, I don't know why sailors don't walk around with a smile on their face all the time, because there's Chili's, Starbucks. On an aircraft carrier like this, our modern aircraft carriers, by the way, are 3 times larger than this. So, but we've got so much more to see. We're going to go up our first ladder tonight. You guys watch your step going up this ladder. Take your time. There's a step up over the hatch at the top of the ladder. Okay?
Yay.
For sleeping. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would not be comfortable.
Well, they were flat.
Yeah.
You think? Come on in. Oh, you're not the first one that thought that sailors slept, rolled in towards each other. and y'all feel free to spread out here. We got plenty of room in here, so feel free to spread out. You don't have to see me to hear me in this room. You'll see enough of me. So I'm not going to pick on you when I say this, but I'm just going to say it because other people think the same thing. I had somebody the other night who was very concerned that this is how the sailors slept. At an angle, rolled into each other. And this is not how they slept. So these would
So when they
fall
hit
flat.
waves, they didn't roll off.
Yeah, so you did what you could when there were waves when you're going through high seas. Usually at that point everybody's awake and ready to go anyway. But yeah, the racks fold flat. There were mattresses on them, little mattresses, and they had linens, blankets, and sheets and stuff like that. But since there were about 3,000 sailors on board the Yorktown, there are 82 rooms like this spread throughout the ship. Usually these rooms are situated near some work area or maintenance area where these guys would actually spend their days. The average age of a sailor on the ship was 19. You could enlist at 17, and you still can. And if you were a big 15, 16-year-old, you could pretty easily lie your way in. Yeah, it was pretty easy. To lie your way in. The youngest kid in the Navy, by the way, in World War II was 12. His name was Calvin Graham. He used his older brother's ID to get in. And by the time they figured out how old he was, he had actually gotten a Purple Heart and a Bronze Star. So,
No, it's the people that.
we'll let these guys come on through. You're going to come this way, guys.
Which way?
That way.
This way, and then stop here.
There you go.
Keep going.
Yeah, keep going.
It's fascinating. You know what's going on with them and where they need to go.
I'm just getting them out of here. Yeah, they probably will. So there are ways not to get lost on this ship. Should you get separated from the group, just go up, okay, until you get to the hangar bays, and that's pretty recognizable. You can get out from there. But, and that's always worked for me in the past because I still get lost. There are parts of this ship I haven't seen yet. There are areas of the ship that are deep down inside. So, and I'm trying to find those today. At any rate, something that I thought was even more surprising than the age of the sailors and the fact that a kid was 12 serving in the Navy was the fact that most of these kids were coming from some of the most landlocked states you could think of. Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, for crying out loud. And when they were reported for duty aboard the Yorktown, and these kids had never seen anything this big, much less the ocean. They were terrified and excited and anxious to get into the fight. And everybody felt that way. So the minute you came on board the Yorktown, you had as many brothers as you could possibly want. The captain would have been the father figure of the ship, most experienced sailor on the ship. He disciplined you, he rewarded you. But when we read transcripts of men who served on the ship, when we listen to their audio, we watch their video, one thing they say over and over again is the Yorktown was like their mother. In fact, what they said is they loved the Yorktown like she was their mother. These boys were as fiercely loyal to the ship as they were to their own mother. And rightly so. The ship fed them, it clothed them, it rocked them to sleep at night, gave them chocolate chip cookies when they were good boys. Did everything you would want them on. And it's our belief that when some of these men died, the ones who found the most fellowship, the most purpose, the most joy in life on the ship are the ones that she brought back. Because for the Yorktown, for these men, the Yorktown was everything heaven should be. Right? So the Yorktown wanted to hang on to the boys that she felt really wanted to be here. Okay? And that's why we think the ship is filled with spirits, but spirits of heroes. kids who dedicated their lives to this country and the ship. Well, we don't think they're really here to hurt us, but there are some things that can make you hurt yourself. You guys saw those mannequins down there in the gallery. There's more. Some of them weird looking too, peering out at you from display windows. I think the last ghost tour we gave to campers, I told a bunch of 9 and 10-year-olds that late at night the mannequins climb down off their mounts and go roaming the hallways of this ship. That was it. Yeah, I don't think we did another one after that. But we're going to make a little circuit of the room here and head on out. Go this way. Dude, that hair is outrageous. Is that product or is that static? Got it. Okay. Go through this hatch and take a left. And hang out that hallway. What? Okay, ask me when I get out there.
I want that $75
To what?
The sign up there that says, yeah, see Jeff.
If I see Jeff, we're gonna have a problem.
This is pretty cool, don't you think?
It's so crazy, like all the.
I mean, so the worst food, this young man served in the Navy. So one thing they all say is when they come on board the Yorktown, the smell of the ship, you notice, has a distinctive odor to it. They all smell like that. So it's home, it's familiar, right? But yeah, the Navy has okay food. It's the Army and the Marines have the worst. Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, unless the Marines are attached to the Navy.
It was really good.
But the Air Force courses. You want good food?
If you got really, really good food like crab or lobster and steak, bad news was following. That's what we all
say. And everybody says that too. That's really funny. That's pretty good. So before we go any further, just to let you know, this is a foam station. As part of the firefighting apparatus on board the Yorktown. You would fill tanks like this with seawater and a chemical foaming agent, and then these would feed into the sprinkler system or other firefighting stations. And you know, you never put a fire out on the Yorktown with water because all your fires on the ship are going to be oil or gas or grease or something else wouldn't react very well. You put a bunch of water on it. So it was always going to be this aqueous film forming foam. It's what they call it. They still use it today. Every sailor knows about it because every sailor is a firefighter too. It's like the worst thing that can happen on a ship is for your ship to catch fire. And then the room over here, this is a really long room too. It stretches from the bulkhead behind you to the bulkhead in front of you and contains the machinery required to raise and lower one elevator on the ship. It's a really big elevator. Okay. Do what now? Yeah, so this is sick bay. Yeah. So we're about to go into sick bay. Anybody else on the tour active duty or former military? Active duty, I take it? What do you do?
Navy.
Are you nuclear school?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. Only the smartest kids go to nuclear school, huh? You must be proud. You know, if you dress in your uniform, you can get on the Yorktown for free.
He said no.
Right, don't want to do that?
He said he's not wearing.
Dude, you get your picture taken. People are like, can my kids get their picture taken with you? Stuff like that. It's a lot of fun. But how about How about medical professions? Do we have any of those on board tonight? I don't need one. We're just going into the medical area.
Ambulance assistant, but nothing yet.
Okay, this will seem familiar to you. There's lots of things in here that are familiar. So watch your step over the hatch, and then all the thresholds in here are raised as well.
Was it originally green?
Yeah.
That's a color for sick bay.
Living areas. Yeah.
This is cool. Oh,
So I don't know if me being an explorer for the fire department counts as medical.
no.
You got to learn some basic.
Yeah, I'm EMS trained. I mean, first aid trained already.
At high school.
Young man wants it. Hey, $17,677.
All right, guys, come on in. It's a little tight in here, but you guys can spread out a little.
First outfit free.
Get some of you over here is fine. Get some of you over here is fine, right over here. By that thing, I don't know what that is. I wouldn't get too close to it.
Yeah. I think it is.
I think it's like it's a scanner.
Like an X-ray.
X-ray machine?
No, it's not an X-ray. It's I think it's like an EKG
Oh,
or an EEG, something like that. You would get the readout here, right? So you would get the peaks and valleys here. But yeah, this is sick bay. So this is. I was surprised that for a ship of this size, for a crew of 3,000, these are all the hospital beds you've had. Now, of course, you could use other parts of the ship for triage, and you had battle dressing stations that could take patients as well. But this is the main medical area of the ship, and it's only this big. But the fact was, if you were in here, it was pretty bad, and you were waiting to be transferred to a hospital ship, right? That was you didn't want to linger here very long. Though the Yorktown did have some of the finest surgeons and doctors in the Navy, their job was to stabilize you so you could be transferred to a hospital ship that could give you the kind of care consistently that you needed. I will tell you this, the first casualty on board the Yorktown occurred in this rack right here. His name was Ken Rafer. Ken Rafer was why don't you guys, come on in. Yeah, come on in, gather over here. Get everybody a little closer in there. Don't get too close to that thing, though. I don't know what that does. So again, I think it's an EEG machine. Yeah, so Ken Rafer was the first casualty on board the Yorktown. Again, in this rack right here. And he was a pharmacist aide, so he didn't have any medical training to speak of, but he could type real well. So he could print labels, he could count bills, he could file. He died from body lice.
What is that?
So it's like regular lice, only elsewhere. And I didn't think you could die from body lice. It's a nuisance, I'm told, but I didn't think you'd die from it. Turns out you can't. But you can scratch yourself to death, and that's what happened. He died of a horrible infection.
Yeah.
So if you start feeling itchy in this part of the ship, those are ghost crabs. That's the best joke I have, by the way. That's it. Don't get any better than that. But true, that's a true story. I don't know if I really absorbed it when I first read it, but that's a true story. You can get kicked out of the Navy for bringing lice on board a ship. Can you imagine the chaos? 800 men had to sleep on the flight deck while they eradicated that. And who knows? Maybe the Yorktown would want to keep Ken Rafer around so that he won't get more the way he got him the first time. Okay? Probably a lot of things that you want to explain to your children offline. You don't want to do that around me. So you guys, let's go this way. right, you guys watch your step over the hatch here. Hey guys, take it around.
It's a big ship. Rotating these models for collections of space. Always in.
Shit.
And come on, we have plenty of room to spread out in here, we got plenty of room.
You know how I said every morning playing stay.
Yeah, I used to never stop it. It's just, this is a great place to rally, because I actually lost somebody back in the airplane model room. Yeah, they just became enthralled, paralyzed by the fascination of those planes, which I can completely understand. But yeah, so I started rallying here so that I could keep my group together, and then people started asking me questions about this model. So this is the Yamato, the largest battleship ever constructed. She's on display on the Yorktown because pilots from the Yorktown's 9th Air Group, in a coordinated attack with other air groups from other ships, were able to sink them. This was a tough ship to sink. In the end, I think she took 35 torpedoes and 19 bombs, and that's a lot. That's a lot of ordnance, all hitting in one place. And I think the model took 2,700 hours to build. So tell me the guy who built this model was either single when he started or single when he finished. So you guys follow me. We're going to turn the corner.
Where's Kate?
Come on in. We got plenty of room in here.
Should have totally run into campus that thing might go off on them at night.
I know, it's pointed right at you. That gun right there. That everybody? There we go. All right, so this is marine berthing that we're in, and marine berthing this is an example of the area which is really much larger. So the Marines on board the Yorktown lived separately from the sailors because their jobs were very different. Right? Marines did not sail the Yorktown, but they did protect her. So Marines were gunners and pilots. They operated the armory, which is just here, and the brig, which is like the jail of the ship. And Marines had this reputation for being rugged and courageous individuals, and nothing more than this next story really points that up. In 1945, a 500-pound bomb was dropped on the Yorktown. It's the only time this ship was hit by an enemy bomb. Now that bomb passed through the signal bridge, hit gun turret number 7, which is roughly over our heads here, was deflected off the side of the ship where it detonated about 30 feet away, instantly killing 2 men and mortally wounding a 3rd. As that bomb bounced off of gun turret number 7, in the blink of an eye, it amputated the legs of the 2 Marines on that gun turret. Now, one of those Marines died shortly after they got him to sick bay. The other Marine, a fellow named Powell Barnett, was still alive when Foreman got to him. So they put tourniquets around his legs, and they were trying to carry him down off of this gun turret, but Powell Barnett was physically stopping him and yelling at him the entire time. Go away, save the ship, come back and get me when the Yorktown's out of danger. So they did ultimately leave him there, and when they came back to get him, there were so few corpsmen to pull him down off of that gun turret that Pal Barnett had to hold his own bottle of blood plasma high over his head. And now they're dragging him through the hangar bays, which are covered in saltwater foam. And then by the time they get him to sick bay, after all of that, Pal Barnett would spend the rest of that night in sick bay reassuring each and every wounded sailor that came in. He would regale the doctors and corpsmen with stories, friends, family at home, trying to lighten the mood that night. At midnight, Pal Barnett would succumb to his injuries, and the next morning was one of 5 men buried at sea off the flight deck of the Yorktown. So 5 men died from direct enemy fire on the ship. In total, in almost 25 years of service, the Yorktown lost 141 souls. The interesting thing about that is, and by the way, we mourn that loss. This ship is blessed by a Cherokee Indian shaman. The captain of the Yorktown, Captain Joseph Clark, her first captain, was part Cherokee Indian, first Native American to graduate from the U.S. Naval Academy, and had talked his tribal shaman into coming out and giving a blessing over the ship at the christening ceremony. And the blessing went something like, no more harm would come to the men on this ship than had the men on the first Yorktown aircraft carrier. The first Yorktown aircraft carrier lost 141 souls exactly. So the ship, lucky and blessed. And just to let you know how lucky and blessed, another Essex-class carrier like the Yorktown called the U.S.S. Franklin lost over 800 men in a day. So the Yorktown, if you were a young lady at home and had a father or a brother or a son on board the Yorktown, you were pretty sure that those letters were going to keep coming up. Now we're going to be moving forward here. We are moving toward the front of the ship. The paranormal activity does tend to ramp up from here on in. What are you going to do? Don't hit me.
Is this the ship?
That is another aircraft carrier called the Hornet.
61.
Or not the Hornet, the Hancock. Now, are you tumbling? Is that your gymnastics? You're tumbling? But there are other things in gymnastics,
I
right?
do floor beam vault bars.
Okay. The vault, that's where you run really hard? You jump over that thing? Does that hurt when you don't do it right?
I always do.
Okay, good. That's good enough. Come on in, guys. We've got plenty of room to spread out in.
We got an engine room. No.
Yeah, we won't go in the engine room. It's
Okay.
first off, it's a lot of ladders to climb down, and I mean that's as haunted as any other part of this ship.
That's where I was on ship. That's why I was
Oh,
curious.
really? Was it really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So destroyers are diesel power or
Not the ones I was in, gas turbine.
gas turbine. Okay, gotcha. So they don't heat up water like aircraft carriers do, or do they?
Well, we had hot water, of course, but it was different. It wasn't.
Gotcha.
It wasn't the diesels. So.
Gotcha. Because the Yorktown, at least, steam really powers the ship. It's just how you heat it. So there's a part of this ship. There are actually many parts of this ship that you can't see in the daytime, and that's because this is a working museum. But she's also a work in progress. There are areas that are being reconstructed, areas that are unsafe for you to be in, and areas that are like offices. This one little area that we're about to go into, the only reason it's off limits is because there's a room in it that's used by staff for overnight stays. That's it. And it's got some bedding in it and air conditioning and personal effects and that sort of thing. But the guy who spent the most time in that room is a guy named Brian Parsons, room 243. Brian Parsons is somebody that we consulted with extensively to put this tour together because he's spent more time on this ship day and night than anybody else has. He was a scout when he spent the night on this ship. First time, fell in love with it. And then after that, every day in the summer, his mom would drive him to Patriots Point so that he could volunteer. When Brian goes to college, he goes to college for electrical engineering so that he could come back and work in one of the higher paying full-time jobs out here. And the way that looked is that after classes on Friday, he would drive down to Patriots Point, finish up whatever tasks they had for him, and then if it was late, he'd go to bed in room 243. So he's seen and heard a lot of stuff on this ship. And he was just a great source of information and stories for us. But Brian was telling us about his first paranormal experience out here. I'll never forget him when he was telling me this. He said that he had gotten here kind of late one Friday. He had a lab or something. It wasn't until about 11:30 that he had finished up with his task. So he goes to bed in room 243 here. He's lying there. He's still awake. He figures it's about 12:15, 12:30 when he hears this really loud noise. I won't do that again. Promise. Don't cry. You guys love it when we make kids cry. That's what we live for. So this loud noise occurs. Brian is instantly on his feet. The door has been thrown open. And he runs up to the door, looks out in the hallway. There's a chain across this hatch, a chain across that hatch. They're not moving around. He doesn't hear footsteps. And that night it was Brian and the security guard, no overnight campers. Okay? Now Brian, over the years, has told us he's gotten used to a lot of the paranormal phenomena that happens on board the Yorktown. This is not the only time a door has been thrown open on this level. There's a spirit that the staff out here called Paul, who they believe is throwing doors open. Left and right. Interesting thing about that is Powell Barnett was actually known as quite the prankster. Somebody that was his MO, was throwing unlocked doors open. Okay, so maybe the Yorktown is keeping Powell around because of his levity or because of his selflessness. Save the ship, leave me be, that kind of thing. Anyway. Brian, as used to the paranormal as he is on this ship, there is an area of this ship that he refuses to go into to this day. And that's where we're going next. Now, I need 4 or 5 brave souls who I intend to put into paranormal harm's way. Okay, you guys, this kid over here, okay. All right, so my intrepid explorers are going to line up behind me, and then everybody else is going to line up behind them, and we're going to walk down this hallway.
Sacrifice the kids.
Why is it so cold in here?
Pretty cold, isn't it?
Keep germs away.
Well, right above us is the hangar bay.
Oh.
So that cold air is coming down laterally like this.
Was this room over here somewhere?
Do what now?
Was the person's room over here?
Back that way. Yep.
And why does he refuse to come in here?
There was a...
I don't get it.
This is where the poking and the shoving happens.
Oh, great. Yeah.
Why is it so
No,
dark?
authorized access only,
I can't do this
right?
anymore.
Authorized access only. Great.
All right, now you see that open hatch down at the end? You might need your cell phone flashlight to get you in there.
It's already recording.
So right through that open hatch down at the end, if you need your cell phone flashlight, you're welcome to use it.
Is Serafina way up there?
Could you give me your flashlight? Someone, oh wait, that's not my sister, sorry. Oh, Jesus. Thank you.
I don't like this. I don't like this.
This thing better not get thrown open, I swear to God.
I do not like No, why did you do this?
Don't touch that, it's asbestos.
Don't know if anything will happen because I'm recording. Yeah, apparently so.
This is a nice hall.
No, that door scares me.
That thing's gonna get thrown open, I swear to God.
You know what's that right there?
I don't think anything's very common because we're too loud. You wouldn't even hear anything that was gonna happen.
So this part of the ship is differently haunted than the rest of the ship.
No, I know they're not at the back after they make me come up here. No way.
Okay, let's just see this, so they have to go back to their
Oh, I was about to say.
And then,
Jesus.
Yes, this is where the physical paranormal phenomenon happens, and we believe it's because of things like past that open hatch, you're getting into the area where the battle dressing station that dealt with burn victims is located. There were casualties in this hallway here, a tragic
Lovely.
mishap, which we'll go over a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is an area that we researched pretty thoroughly when it came to the history, and then when we started doing our investigations, we were looking for two different kinds of hauntings. We were looking for a residual haunting, which, for lack of a better term, is going to be the memory of the ship. Okay, events and the emotional energy behind those events that can play out some conditions or just right. These are going to be the shadows you thought you saw move, the feeling of being watched, the breeze that you feel as if somebody has passed by you.
Great.
And the other kind of haunting that we get is the intelligent haunting. That's where there's an entity that's aware of its own existence and can interact with us. That's going to be the Exorcist, the Ring, Insidious, all the Conjuring movies, and the Annabelle films too. You guys saw Poltergeist. Right? It was, yeah, it's just, and that's why we're able to fit in. Because we actually have video proof of something with physicality that dwells just on the other side of that open hatch. And we had an investigation here that used what they call a ghost grid, which, for lack of a better term, the ghost grid is like a, you know, this Christmas laser light people shot in your house, you know what I'm talking about? Okay, so that's what a ghost grid is. Essentially, it's one color. It doesn't move around. It's a regular pattern. The idea is you shine that into a room like this, a darkened area, and if anything moves around, it perturbs the light beams and you can see it. So they put a camera behind that, and they recorded something bizarre coming out of that open hatch towards us. You guys want to see it?
No.
Yeah, I do actually.
Yes.
Oh my God, the little kid.
You're such a weirdo. I heard my mom laughing up there.
Okay. I swear to God, it's gonna shut right on me.
No, don't worry. I'll do my best with the flashlight. I'll like beat it.
Oh my
You having fun back here?
Ooh, sorry.
It's okay.
I know that is not
Let's see if I can find the rate.
nothing for me. It's awful in here.
Oh, he's just going. Bye.
No, they deserve to get lost.
Keep doors closed.
It doesn't smell.
Touch to start.
Alright, so look, I'll be right back. I have to go take care of all the barricades I got set for us to get here. If I don't do this, these cameras are going to get really long. Because they're maxed, you know, they're sort of routed by those barricades. So wait for me here, it should take 70 seconds. And I'll be right back.
Sitting next to your CPR man.
Yes, it does.
That's why you're getting married.
It has the stitching like across your chest.
Do you have nothing on the side?
No, because that's the Adam.
Oh, don't.
Well, no, because the instructors have naval nuclear power. Yeah, because that's his command. We are student status. It's not our. We're not station. We're technically not. I mean, we are, but we aren't. We're not a part of it.
Yes, I gotcha. I get it now.
They want to change it to where our schools is getting. Wait,
Does yours have a line across the top?
yeah, prototype has a shoulder patch. They have no, what do you run a kid training?
You know what the cool thing about that is? It's a sound-powered phone.
Oh, really?
So it's not connected to the electrical system on the ship.
It has to be really loud.
No, so when you talk into it, that vibrates a diaphragm that pushes on a rod that runs it through like a magnetic coil. And that creates just enough electricity to activate the diaphragm on the other end to transmit what you're, transmit.
That's cool.
So, this is the actual person coming through here right now.
Not a ghost.
Yeah, so if the power ever goes out on the ship, you can use that to call. You can still talk to people, throughout the ship.
Does it work today?
No, I doubt it.
I mean, how fun would it be with all the kids?
So, if you guys get into the groups that you came in with, and I will bring this video around, so you guys kind of group up the, how you came.
I hate this. It's just in that room.
And I'll bring this video around. Now, just to set this video up for you, what you're going to see are all these little points of light, okay? And that's where the lasers are striking any upright surface. So that back bulkhead where the open hatch is, anything sticking out of the side of the corridor down from above. What you don't see in this video is the open hatch. It's there. It's just, it's dark in this room. You can't see it. So I'll show you guys and I'll bring it around and hit you guys like this. Okay, so right about there is the open hatch. I got dog hair on the phone. Right here. That's weird. Right?
Yeah, that was bizarre.
That's super weird.
Did you take this?
No, but I know who did.
No.
A buddy of mine.
Oh, wow.
So right there.
That's a human walking.
Right?
No, that's a ghost walking.
Did he not run out of there?
Oh, well, the reason I have the sound down on this phone is because there's an expletive in this video. So, quite a few.
I don't think there's anything I haven't heard.
It was just
Right
this
in here.
next movement.
So that's where we were just standing in there.
Oh, you-
See? Look at it moving.
Did you just say shots fired?
That's part of the tool that we use to detect. All right. Let's get you guys into this group of three right here, and then we'll catch you two over there. Okay, so right about here is where our test is.
Okay. You can see feet stepping, like legs stepping towards. Okay, that's pretty.
Right?
I did. I went right in there. But everybody wants to hurry up. Come back. You were like faint. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, we don't know what that is. Now, I'll tell you that the tours we sort of attract psychics and mediums and empaths and people who are sensitive to, paranormal phenomenon. And what all of them have said after experiencing that room is that, whatever that is in there is malevolent. It means us harm. And it's not of the ship. It's something that has come later. So what they would not have known when they told me this is that several years ago, the unsubstantiated rumor is that some kids who volunteered out here took a Ouija board back there and called something up. And that's usually how you would get an intelligent haunting. Right? They usually have to be conjured. Sometimes they're attracted by very intense emotion or tragedy that brings about great pain and suffering, but usually they're conjured. So all I know is that people are talking to something when we go back there. We do investigations on the ship where we bring things like ghost grids and dowsing rods and pendulums and all this stuff. And we are communicating with something back there. I don't know what it is, but it gives me creeps. We've had the ghost hunters have been out here. You guys are familiar with them?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, they did a show out here in 2012 called Haunted by Heroes, where they actually took infrared cameras back in this area and they recorded, human-shaped forms moving around. BuzzFeed Unsolved has been out here. They've done an episode out here. I don't know where that BuzzFeed episode is, but the Ghost Hunters episode is called Haunted by Heroes. It's on I think it's Discovery Plus streaming. But you can see it in its entirety for free on Daily Motion. That's like a video platform. It's older than YouTube. It's been around for a while. And the last time I looked, it was there. All I know. Did you guys ever see The Shining? Mm-hmm. Remember at the end of The Shining when Jack Nicholson's picture is in that staff photo over the bar, as if now he's another spirit that haunts the Overlook Hotel? When I perish in a tragic paranormal investigation accident, this is where I'm going to end up. Right here.
Right in that picture, sitting at the table.
The open, there's a couple of open chairs right up front there. Yeah. And look at them all looking at me right now.
I'm waiting for you.
Just wait. Yeah.
Come, my friend, come home.
That's fireman. It's a drill for the campus. So right now they're all making their way down ladders to the hangar bay, which is where we're about to head up to. They have certain areas where they have to be, and
Please proceed to the nearest exit from the ship to the pier. By the nearest stairway.
it looks that way, doesn't it? Yeah.
to the pier.
Picking his teeth.
Poor guy. He's the one that
All right, guys, we got more stuff to see and do. By the way, this is the officers' wardroom. Officers would eat here. They did not eat with the sailors. They had their own galley. They had their own food. They had their own dining area. Right here.
Use the elevator. The exit by the nearest stairway.
Makes the tour more exciting.
May I have your attention, please? May I have your attention, please? There has been a fire alarm reported aboard the Yorktown.
I don't think so.
There has been a fire.
Yeah, but there was corn and vegetables, and there's not on that side.
Please proceed to the nearest exit from the ship to the pier. Please clear nearest exit from the ship to the pier. Do not use the elevator. The exit by the nearest stairway.
Interesting to read about that dude
Yeah.
on the other side.
Yeah, Butch O'Hare. They named O'Hare Airport after him. Yeah. He was good in this aircraft. This is a terrible aircraft, but he made it work. All right, guys, we're gonna be heading down this way.
They have a.
The 93, I would have been like 3 years old.
Gather in over here. We'll tell you a little bit about the Apollo capsule. Yeah, so this is a replica of the Apollo 8 spacecraft that was the first manned mission to orbit the moon and return safely to Earth. The Yorktown retrieved her in 1968. That's what she's doing on board. What I didn't realize, and she's under renovation right now. You can like get in her. There's a little movie that plays it, kind of shakes you around a little bit. But what I didn't realize about this was that mankind had never left low Earth orbit before this mission. This was the first time any human being had been so far away from home, all the way out to the moon. So their first orbit, by the way, around the moon would begin Christmas Eve, 1968. So we are going into a part of the ship that is off limits in the daytime. You'll see why when we get up there. The campers are not allowed up in this area either. You have to be careful where you're stepping. You'll see when we get up there. It's not horribly dangerous.
Hangar Bay 1 is clear.
By the way, just to mention, this is my biggest fan.
Here we go. Ooh, skipped a step.
Yeah. Got a job for you. It's not a big job. It's an important job, but it's not a big job. All you got to do is push this hatch closed. You have to be at the end of the line. Okay. So after we all go through, just push this hatch closed. You don't have to latch it or anything. Just make sure you push it closed. You got it. Thanks, dude. All right, this is a spring hinge door that we're going through. So be careful you don't let it slam back on somebody as they're going through.
I got it, you go. Mm-hmm. Of course.
Thank you.
Of course.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Shut the door. Shut the. Thank you.
Of course.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. There we go. Okay. Let's see if that thing's up. Something like that. Thank you. Oh. Reset the ship. Yeah. No, you're fine. Female campers only.
It's funny, everybody comes up here, there's a couple of people in the group, they'll try to move the chain. So this room is called a forecastle, okay? This is where you would raise and lower the anchor, which is a dangerous thing to do. You didn't do a lot. The ship is usually out sailing around, but when you were doing it, it was dangerous because each one of these links weighs 160 pounds. There's 1,000 feet of anchor chain on each side. And then the anchors themselves, attached to each one of these chains, weigh 30,000 pounds, 15 tons each. When this anchor chain is moving, it's not going to know your foot's in the way. It won't even slow it down. Might even drag you in. So, there's that danger. And then in World War II, you didn't have the bulkheads on either side. These were gone. This was all open to the water. You had to like trailer around here. The flight deck was your ceiling. That's, loaded with planes with fuel and bombs taken off the whole time. And there was an incident up here too. In 1944, a plane was taken off on the left-hand side here, the port side. The ship listed at the left wing of the plane, dragged across the flight deck. The effect was it spun the entire plane off into the water on the port side. And the 3 crewmen on that plane got out. As they were inflating their life vests, the depth charges were all out. After that, you wouldn't know there was a plane or men in the water. They just disappeared. The front end of this ship was raised completely out of the water, causing casualties below in that dark hallway. These are the memories that the Yorktown has, graphic memories of death and destruction. But make no mistake about it, the Yorktown has beautiful memories too. Memories of brotherhood, cooperation, and victory of men gathered for Thanksgiving feast on the hangar beds. Long tables, all the turkey and all the fixings, all paid for by the captain, just so his boys could get a little taste of home and some camaraderie. And these memories aren't isolated to the ship; they can follow you around. You guys, we talked about that smell earlier, the smell on board the Yorktown. When you think about it, that smell is going to be fuel, lubricants, wet coffee, cigarettes. 25 years ago, that smell is as much a part of the ship as any steel beam or bulkhead is today. And when you go home tonight, you're going to smell like the Yorktown. Your clothes are going to smell like her. Your hair is going to smell like her, especially yours. And you can do one of two things. You can bathe, or you can go to bed with the smell of this ship in your nostrils. You do that, and you'll have dreams, perhaps nightmares, about the Yorktown. So we will have an opportunity to air out up on the flight deck. You guys ready to do that?
Yeah.
We'll see how cold it is up there. We'll play it by ear. It's not going to be as cold up there now as it is going to be for my 9 o'clock. Yeah, I don't know how to do it. That 9 o'clock is the same time up here.
How long is this?
90 minutes. Or so, maybe a little longer.
So they
Right
leave
now-
until like 11?
Right now we're hitting 60-minute mark. Exactly.
Isn't that like where the paranormal stuff happens?
Well, see, it's different on this ship. It could happen any time because you don't know whether it's night or day out there. Right? Most places of this ship, it's the same. You don't know if it's raining, or if it's daylight, or if it's nighttime.
So far, nothing's happened.
That's good.
I don't think anything's wrong. Trick, you better hold your phone higher.
Oh, yeah. Oh, jeez. I'm holding on to the railing that doesn't really... Wow. Look at that.
That's a gun.
Pretty big gun, huh?
It's an amazing gun. Oh. Ooh. Keep off gun. Pretty good idea.
Bro, why do you have to do
Overnight program.
Yep. That's one of the areas where the kids are sleeping. Yeah, I have to imagine there was an acceptable level of hearing loss on this ship with guns like this going off,
Oh, yeah.
planes, roaring out.
Well, that anchor, they didn't have earplugs in when they dropped that,
Yeah,
back in the
probably
60s,
not, yeah.
70s, all the time.
I've seen videos of things going horribly wrong in rooms like that.
Oh,
on
yeah.
ships. If that chain is if there's a mechanical malfunction, that chain starts going. I mean, it'll hop up off the ground about this high. It'll smoke will start pouring out of those ports as it's just whipping through.
Yeah.
Is the anchor down now?
They might start driving off with us.
All right. So we're all set. I got some good news for you, though. Turn my flashlight up. That's the last ladder we got to climb up tonight. We don't have to go up or down any more ladders tonight. Now, if you're wondering how we're going to get down, I'm just going to let you wonder that for a little while.
Elevator.
No, I wish.
The aircraft?
No.
Oh. Oh wait, that is an elevator, isn't it?
Okay.
Would you call that an elevator, the thing that takes the aircraft up to the...
Elevator.
That is? Okay.
Okay, I need your help.
Yeah.
When you get up this step and that next ladder, open up the gate. It's a chain link fence gate. Just open it up. I'll tell you later.
Oh wow. Oh wow, this is great. Dude. Yeah.
I couldn't get it. Are you just not gonna get down?
South Carolina flag's not flying anymore.
This.
They had the South Carolina flag flying right there. Except it's not. Oh wait, no. It might be on the other end.
This feels weird to me.
The ground?
No, just being up here.
Oh, the ground feels weird the way that it's made. I'm gonna stand on the one.
That's the mill. No more stairs up or down.
No, so I don't see how they're gonna get off.
Better not jump.
No elevator. No stairs.
We're not gonna get off. We're gonna jump into the ocean.
That's what I'm saying. So, question. How would the airplane take off if there's a huge pole right there? That
There
would
wasn't.
probably still be there.
There probably it wasn't used to be there.
Oh, I bet that caught the planes when they came back in.
Oh, wait, with the net.
Yeah.
Yeah. That does make sense.
Never mind. They probably circled around and took off that way.
Mm-hmm.
I think Venus is usually
Then this caught them.
it's like sunrise.
Oh, my eyes. Flashbang.
Yeah, they're going to keep it. They're just going to keep using it.
They just drop them into seawater and they start pumping. There's no anything to them.
Really?
Yeah. They have a seawater pump. You just drop in the salt water, boom, it starts pumping water. No mechanical, no electric, no nothing. It just, it's
That's
the weirdest.
weird.
It doesn't even make sense.
I'm going to have to check that out.
Yeah, it's wild.
Didn't that used to be there to catch the planes?
So that's a good question. Let's talk a little bit about launching an aircraft and retrieving an aircraft. First off, this is a really dangerous place to be. The flight deck of an aircraft carrier has a ton of people on it. and a lot of moving parts, a lot of planes taking off. Before the 1950s, the ship did not have catapults, but today they use catapults to launch aircraft off the aircraft carrier. Catapults are, if you think of it like a slingshot. It's designed to get a plane moving very, very fast in a very short amount of time and distance. To capture an aircraft, so you want to land on an aircraft carrier, you need two things. You need an arresting cable and an arresting wire. So the arresting cable is just a long, thick cable that extends across the deck and is coiled under the deck on either side. Those coils are they're spooled under some hydraulic tension. So when a plane lands, it drops a hook off the back of it. It's called a tail hook. And that hook is designed to grab that wire, which is just resting on the flight deck. And that wire will slow the plane down and stop it in a short amount of distance, but not so abruptly it damages the aircraft engines or pilot. Think of it as like a rubber band. Okay? And I didn't know this, but apparently those arresting cables snap all the time. So you can imagine the force, instantaneous. When a plane lands, it grabs that thing and just yanks it. And sometimes things like that fail. And when it does, when that thing snaps, the rebound, if anybody's in the way, is deadly. You know, usually death on the flight deck occurs in the blink of an eye. You could be sucked into the air intake of a jet engine. You could be incinerated, shot over the side of the ship by the exhaust. You could, if you're not paying attention, stumble into a spinning propeller. Death in an instant. Okay? And that creates a certain kind of spirit, right? A spirit that died so quickly it doesn't even know it's dead. It carries on with its daily activities, oblivious to the fact that it's passed on. Those spirits have to be guided to a better place. They have to be shown the way. If those spirits exist on the Yorktown, this is where they are. And they are here. We've had public safety. They're out here 24/7, and they've seen people wandering around up here. They'll go running after them, and these people vanish in the thin air. Okay? It happens in the daytime too. It's just you can't tell in the daytime because there's a bunch of people. But it happens. So you guys follow me up to the helicopter here. I've got a story to tell you there and an interesting picture to show you.
Which one? There's only one. Oh, that's
Ships are so moving.
And beautiful Charleston laid out in the fields like that. Right. It's like a little. Yeah, there's a strong possibility that the flight deck, the metal part of it here, will freeze tonight on my second tour. If that happens, this is a skating rink.
Does the flight deck have to be a specific material?
So it's kind of interesting. The deck on the Yorktown originally was wood, and when the Yorktown was towed in, it's my understanding that this whole area was rotted so completely that they just replaced it with steel. Yeah.
Who's up
there? I don't know. Is there anybody up there? Do you see somebody up there?
Kind of ish. Kind of looks like a person, kind of not.
By the way, did you guys see Top Gun Maverick?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so like the enthusiasm there. So this is the kind of plane they were flying in Top Gun Maverick. It looks like the kind of plane they were flying in Top Gun Maverick. The kind they were flying was the newer version of this F-18 Hornet. Is what this is called. So much smaller than the F-14 Tomcats they were flying in the first Top Gun movie. Has anybody not seen the first Top Gun movie? Okay. Some of you kids probably haven't. That was a good movie. That changed America. The recruitment numbers for the Navy shot up like you wouldn't believe after Top Gun came out. Ray-Ban sunglasses. I think Top Gun saved that company from bankruptcy. Ray-Ban sunglasses became very, very popular. All right, guys, right this way. We're going to see the helicopter. Say the story about that. So yeah, just to point out, this is what they call a Sea King helicopter. This is the heavy lifter on board the Yorktown. So it retrieved Apollo capsules. It brought aboard equipment and supplies, pallets and pallets of stuff. But we had a young lady on tour whose dad used to fly these. They've been flying them since 1960, and she wanted to get a picture of the inside of it. So she stands on her toes and she takes this blind photo inside the helicopter. When she gets home and sees what she has, she immediately emails us, let's see if you can see why. So I'm just going to bring this around. You guys can, I'll just bring it around and let everybody see it. I see it. You see it?
I want to see the human being. This is a human being. Oh, no way.
Mommy, stop.
He's right here. That's his face right there, and that's his little fur collar.
Hold up, let me see that again. He looks a little too pale. Yeah, take blind photos, everybody. See if you can.
I can't even reach. I'm a little girl.
You want me to do it, honey?
No.
She's determined to do it herself.
I took like 8, so if I find something, it's gotta be there.
Oh, now I see it. Once you see it, you can't unsee it.
Now I see it better from here. My vision. You know, actually, I don't want to stop near that.
Everybody, there you go.
Oh, I'll stand right here.
I regret doing that.
Hey, buddy. You in there? I don't think
we know who that is.
Who?
There was a pilot who comes on board the Yorktown in 1943. His name was Lieutenant Hummel. Lieutenant Hummel's a bomber pilot. He flew the Dauntless dive bomber. And he was a good pilot. He's just, the guy could never figure out his way around the ship. There's a three-dimensional address system on the ship that will tell you where you are from top to bottom, from front to back, and from side to side. And it just never clicked with him, so he was constantly getting lost. There's one particular mission. He was up here on the flight deck with the other pilots, and they canceled the mission because of weather. So at that point, everybody's supposed to go back down below decks to their ready rooms, which is where they find out what their missions are, and you know, figure out if they're going to do the thing again, if anything would change. The last time anybody saw Lieutenant Hummel that day was standing over here by the island. That's a building on the flight deck here. That day he vanished without a trace. Nobody reported him missing for a week because they thought he just was lost, right, roaming around the ship. But sure enough, officially, Lieutenant Hummel is one of the 141 casualties on board the Yorktown. Technically, he's missing in action. A body was never found. Okay. And I didn't realize this, but a lot of guys fell off the side of the ship.
Yeah, I can see
Yeah,
You said he was up there or down?
Down on the flight deck itself. Yeah. Aircraft carriers don't have fences around.
Yeah.
Right? So if you didn't know what you were doing, you know, it wasn't that hard to fall off an aircraft carrier. And I've seen at least 2 letters home from the Yorktown to parents who whose child was lost that way. So, but yeah, we got more stuff to see and do. We're not even done yet. We got 2 more things.
Ooh. What was that?
I'll show you right over here. We're very concerned.
So, are we going inside the island up to the bridge?
No, I wish we could go to the bridge.
Yeah, someone might accidentally move it.
Press the wrong button.
Yeah.
And off we go.
Oh no, we left the Cub Scout. Oh, so that's how they get announcements. That's yeah.
Okay, in 1953, the Yorktown changed jobs and got a few upgrades and a convenience in the form of an escalator that was only used by pilots to get up to the flight deck. This escalator meets no current escalator safety standards whatsoever. So they've turned it off. But that's how we're getting down, is stairs. Like legitimate stairs, not like a ladder. Okay, and
Somebody.
I need you. No, I have a job for you. You're gonna go down first. And there's a hatch that's closed. It's not latched or anything. You just open that up, it pulls in. And then there's probably like a yellow caution tape that's magnetized to one side. Just pull that off. Okay. So everybody can get. So you go this way. The escalator's against the far wall there. You guys follow him, and I'll come in behind you. I'm going to shut this hatch.
Don't take any chances.
Oh no, there is an escalator in this thing.
Yeah, I'm sure this wasn't up here.
Yeah, no.
God, making me dizzy. I'll be okay. I got dizzy for a minute.
Oh, you alright?
I'm okay, but I'm going slow. I'm so sorry, everybody. No, you're going to take your time. I just kind of looked around. This isn't for everyone in the
So what did you do when you were in the Navy? Or are you still
I was an
active duty?
engineman.
No.
So I was on 2 destroyers, and I was down in the engine room working on, hydraulics, air conditioners, refrigerators mainly is what I worked on. And then I worked on diesel engines, like the small boats. They would always launch them off the side of the ship, and I'd go out on the small boat, go into other ships, stuff like that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. But I'm not in now. I was 8 years, and then I decided to.
God,
we started
yeah.
having kids. I was like, I probably won't do that
Yeah.
instead of being involved all the time.
Sea Cadets.
Boy, that did make me dizzy.
So I'm guessing the ghost tour is done.
8:30. What time is it?
I'm recording.
Like 15 minutes to eat our dinner.
Yeah, it's not really easy way to
Good job, everybody.
Yeah, you too.
Good job. This is a tough tour to take, by the way. I mean, this is one of our toughest tours. So I'm proud of everybody. You lost about 110 calories, 120 calories is what we think.
That's why we're hungry.
Honestly, exactly. So if that's a beer or a hot chocolate or something to somebody, it's a wash, right? Okay. Sea Cadets.
Sea Cadets get patches and we don't.
See, it's like a yeah, something like that.
Like ROTC.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I got it.
It's attached to the Navy in some way. I think the Coast Guard.
Okay. Yeah.
I had a way to do it.
They get command patches, we still wear don't tread on them.
Okay, so right this way.
They are, that's what he just said. They are. They're like. Yeah.
12 years.
Yeah, we have takes here.